In the video, you saw a little bit about my story, but I'd like to let you in on a little bit more. I'm 62 years old, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I've been married to Ken for 38 years, and we've raised 3 children together. And like many women in my generation, we are now raising our 2 grandchildren. I grew up in Queens, New York, and I'm the 9th of 10 children. My dad was a diabetic and a double amputee and was unable to work. I took my first job at the age of 13 years old at a local cafe, and I worked most of my high school years just to help bring money into the house. I had my dreams of becoming a beautician or getting into the medical field, but there was just never enough money for college. We just had enough money to get by. I married young and had problems in my first marriage and divorced, but that's when I met Ken. We moved to Buffalo, and Ken worked at Westinghouse for 12 years. We heard about the job booming business here in Florida, and we decided to relocate. Well, I didn't work outside of the home because I was busy raising my son and 2 daughters, but I did do a little bit of babysitting to help other families that could not afford daycare. When my children grew up, I went to work for the Florida Expressway Authority, where I worked as a toll collector for 9 years. And I loved my job and being able to help bring money into the home. Unfortunately, I fell at work one day and severely injured my back and broke my wrist, which required multiple surgeries. And with the onset of osteoporosis, it was very painful to continue to do the job that I loved. At the same time, my life took another major turn. My youngest daughter, like most in her generation, a single mom, developed a substance abuse problem and was no longer able to take care of her child. So Ken and I took custody of our 3-year-old granddaughter, Tammy. It wasn't easy starting over. Here we were planning our retirement with our friends, and here we were with Tammy. I've tried to be a very good role model for Tammy and bring her up right. And I'm very, very proud to say that Tammy is now 15 years old, an honor roll student, and very determined to succeed. All in all, our life was pretty good up until about 3 years ago. Ken had a good job. He worked for the same company for 17 years. And that's when the economy took a turn, and we were shocked when Ken got laid off. It wasn't easy. Okay. He was so willing to work, and he had good work qualities, but just couldn't find a job. And as the economy spiraled downward, it even got harder. As you saw in the video, the stress took its toll. And just before Ken had his stroke, I saw an ad for 211, but Ken was too proud to call. It wasn't until we got our eviction notice, repossession notice on our truck, and couldn't pay the bills that Ken made that phone call. And that is when we met Mercedes Bigelow, a United Way case manager and our guardian angel. Things got better for us then. Mercedes set us up in the HPRP program, which helps families at risk for homelessness. They assisted in help paying our rent. Mercedes also helped us lower our truck payments and showed us how to pay our bills by staying on a budget. She had Ken enroll in classes where he learned new skills, including finding jobs online. Finally, Ken got hired at a company called Envision, where he has now been working for nearly a year. I don't cry anymore at night. I know we are on the right track. But if it had not been for the United Way, I don't know where we would be today. I've heard so many things about the work that you are doing, and I applaud your efforts for helping local women and children. It's not an easy thing to admit, but I too once was a victim of domestic violence. And at that time, there was no 211 or other resources for me to call. And it's a terrible feeling, being frightened, alone, trapped with nowhere to go. And that is why we need to keep other women from getting into this situation. And the work you are doing is so very, very important. I thank you for supporting the United Way and for helping families like mine in times, difficult times. And I wish I could hug each and every one of you. But since that's not possible, I would like to say that I thank you from the bottom of my heart because you are all doing such a fabulous job. And it's working.